Tulsi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namo Jito Mara Sharna Loy Tarabansha Purna Hoy Kripa Kore Koro Tare Vrindavana Vasi Namo Namo Tulsi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namo Mora e Abhilash Bilash Kunje Deova Nayane Haribo Sada Jugalari Sarati Namo Namo Tulsi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namo Hendi Vedanadaru Shakiraru Kata Koro Sevari Karadiye Koroni Jagati Namo Namo Tulsi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namo Dina Krishna Dasisa Ajana Mora Shiradha Govinda Preme Sarajano Bhakti Namo Namo Tulsi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namo Yani Kani Chapa Pani Brahma Hatyari Kani Cha Tani Tani Prana Shakti Pradashina Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 turn it on. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Go Kushi, go.
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare There's a song going on in my head and I can't get it out of my head. What should I do? Sing a song? Can you tell what it is? Can you hear it? It's so loud. You ready? You're really ready for this song? All right. Krishna Jinka Naam Hai Gokula Jinka Naam Hai You Hey Again Krishna Jinka Naam Hai Gokula Jinka Naam Hai ऐसे श्री भगवान को मेरे बारंबार प्रणाम है यशोदा जी का मैया है नंद जी बापैया यशोदा जी का मैया है नंद जी बापैया है Can't hear you. ऐसे श्री गोपाल को मेरे बारंबार प्रणाम है राधा जी का जया है अद्भुत जी का माया Adbhuta Jinka Maya Hai. ऐसे श्री घन श्याम को मेरे बारंबार प्रणाम है। Lutta dadi makana kayo, wala bala sanga dinu charayo. ऐसे लीला दामा को मेरे बारंबार प्रणाम है। जुपारसित को लज्जा बचाइयो, ग्रहा से गज को पल्ला छुड़ाइयो। ऐसे कृपा धाम को मेरे बारंबार प्रणाम है। गुरु आमनव को जुदा मचाइयो, अर्जुन को उपदेश सुनाइयो। ऐसे दीनानाथ को मेरे बारंबार प्रणाम है। Get ready, get ready, get ready. Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopala, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopala, Ajare. Hey, Radha Govinda, Gopala Hare. Next. Go, go.
Radha Madan Mohan,
Radha Madan Mohan,
Radha Madan Madan,
Radha Madhava,
Radha Banki Bihari,
Funky Bihari, Bihari,
Radha Damodar,
Radha Damodar,
Radha Giridhar,
Radha Giridhari, Radha Gokulananda.
Radha Gopinath,
Oh,
Radha Gopinath,
oh, Radha Gopi Ballabha, Radha Kishore Gopinath, Radha Kunja Bihari, Radha Rameshwara,
Radha Nilamma,
Radha Nilamai,
Radha Manamohan,
Radha Shama Sundar,
Radha Vrindavan Chandra,
Radha Vrindavan Chandra,
Rukmini Dwarkadhi,
Rukmini Dwarkadhi, Kishore Kishore,
Radha Govinda,
Radha Govinda,
Radha Kalachandji,
Ajare. Shyama ko mere barambar pranam. Hey. Jana Shyama ko mere barambar pranam. So Premanande. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Okay, now we have to pay our taxes. You ready? What do you want to do? Huh? No, that's not taxes. We got to do our shlokas. Which shloka? Where's our shloka meisters? Okay, you want to do Chaitanya Charitamrita Mangalacharan? Okay, let's vote. It's a democracy. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Mangalacharana. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's rigged. It's all rigged. Okay, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Here we go. Pay your taxes. Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan Ishan Ishavatarakam Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahoditao Gaurudai Pushpavantao Chitro Shando Tamodudao Yadadvetam Brahmopanishadi Tarapyasya Tanubha Ya Atmantaryami Purusha Iti Sosham Shabibhavaha Shadaishvaryai Punauyayaha Bhagavan Saswayamayam Nachaitanya Krishna Jagati Paratatvam Paramliha Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunayavatina Kalau Samarapaitum Unatojvarasam Svabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Dhyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spurito Vasachinandana Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Hladini Shakti Rasmat Ekat Madhavapi Bhuti Pura Deha Bhedam Gatau Tau Chaitanyakyam Prakadanamaduna Tadvayam Chaikyamaktam Radha Bhava Duti Subalitam Naomi Krishna Sarupam Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Varnayaiva Svatyo Yena Bhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Varnadiya Saukyam Chasya Mad Anubhavata Kidrisham Deti Lobhat Tad Bhavagya Samajani Sachi Karva Sindho Harindo Sankarsana Karanatavashayi Bodashayi Chapayodishayi Sheshascha Yasyam Shakalasa Nitya Nandakya Rama Sharanam Namastu Mayati Kedvapi Vaikuntaloke Purnaishvarye Shri Chaturvyuhamadye Rupam yasyo bhati sankarsanakyam tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. Maya Bharta Chanda Sangashrayanga Sete Sakshat Karanam Bodhi Madhye Yasya Kamsa Shri Puman Adi Devas Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. Yasyam Sham Shash Shiva Garbo Rashai Yadmabhyabjam Loka Sangatanavam Loka Shrastu Sutika Dhamadhatus Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. Yasyam Sham Sham Shaparatma Kilanam Hosha Vishnur Bhati Dukkadishayi Shoni Bharta Yatkala Sokyanantas Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. Mahishur Jagat Karta Maya Yasrijatyada Yasavathara Devayam Advaita Charya Ishvara Advaitam Harina Dvaitad Acharyam Bhakti Samshanad Bhaktavataram Bhaktantam Advaita Charya Ashraye Shantatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jayatam Suratau Pangor Mahamanda Bhatirgati Matsarva Swapadam Bojau Radha Madanamohanau Divya Vrindaranya Kulpadrumadha Srimad Ratnakara Simhasanastau Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Veshtali Visevyamanam Smarani Srimad Rasarasaramdi Vanshiva Kathakastita Karshan Venu Swame Gopir Gopinata Shri Krishna Ete Krishna Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Eti Thakur Golayaki Karyachena Agmasad Eti Nera Charan Bandon Tine Homanad Nityananda Namangala Charana Guru Krishna Bhagavan Tine Smarana Tine Smarana Hoy Vigna Vinashana Sutta Purana. You know, I really like to hear that tune that we sing at Kartik time because it's in the air and Kartik's coming now and it'll just make us feel a little melancholy. Is that okay? Okay. For melancholy, we need a little lower lights. A little lower lights. If you have a candle, you can light a candle. Just lower the lights a little. Okay, everyone, please close your eyes for a minute. And remember, how Krishna loves his devotees. The spiritual world, he's always with his devotees. And in the material world, he's always with us also. He follows us everywhere because he loves us. And we can remember at certain times of the year how the devotees in Vrindavan love Krishna very deeply. Mother Yashoda, out of her love for Krishna as her child, runs after him and tries to tie him. Krishna makes it impossible until he makes it possible. And in Kartik time, you can remember every day to come and offer a lamp and pray to Krishna from the core of your heart that please let me be with all the devotees who love you and let me serve them. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare And now we just have a few minutes for sharing. We're in the midst of some cycle, Kali Yuga, something. And somehow we came here, and we're all together by Krishna's arrangement. So, share some realizations. Guyamakati Prishiti. What's going on in your life? How are you feeling? What are you thinking? What are you realizing? What do you care about more than other things? What do you care less about? What's bugging you? Sharing means caring. 5, 4, 3, 2. Yes. Hare Krishna.
I was just thinking that this was so beautiful, and I was just wishing that it never ends. And can we just go on just like this forever?
We kind of do, actually. I mean, if you think of our lives, you just go from one festival to the next. There are some different qualities to it, like chanting japa, but I know what you mean. I feel the same way. And it's a sign of spiritual advancement when you have that feeling that you just like Krishna and everything about him. You just want to be there. That's the essence. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Who do we get? Manjula Kanta.
Hi Krishna Gurudev. Gurudev, your lecture today was rocking. Lots of rocks in them.
Rocks, yeah. Right.
I really wanted to say that. Past few weeks I've been thinking a lot about seva because I have a lot of it. And about how seva isn't strong without sadhana. And if seva, sometimes the scales tip with a lot of seva, but it tips with sadhana, less sadhana. And it's been something on my mind for this coming Kartik to balance the two. Because good seva doesn't come without strong sadhana. And each should help the other. It shouldn't be one-sided. Love to hear your thoughts, Gurudev.
Just then you mentioned Kartik. There are various times at which we get great excuses to rebalance things. It's Kartik, I'm doing this. Or it's Ekadashi, I'm doing that. It's Brahma Muhurta, I'm doing this. It's the end of my life, I'm going to be by myself. So it's important, and it's balance doesn't always look perfectly straight. I notice with balance, you're trying to pull back to the center, at least when I do it. And knowing what the center is and being able to come back to that regularly is very important. And more seva, Shushushoshodhanasya Vasudeva Katadruchi Syan Mahat Sevya Bipra Punya Tirtana Shevana. It's a way in which when we do seva, we get a deeper desire to hear and chant. When we hear and chant, get a deeper desire. It's a complementary. They're complementary. So it's nice to notice it and be aware of how we're feeling and make sure that we're feeling okay. It's important to take care of ourselves. Make sure that we're getting the right dosage of chanting Hare Krishna and hearing and chanting. And just remember, life it's your life to use in Krishna's service. So be aware of your own needs in Krishna consciousness. Make sure you take care of yourself. And that goes for health too. Don't let yourself go. It makes a difference what kind of diet you're on and whether you take time for your body. It's a miraculous machine, but you can't run it into the ground. Be careful. Take care of it. Yes.
Prabhu, I was just thinking that maybe you can give us a little advice on what should be the mood for us as we're getting ready for Kartik this year.
The main thing in Kartik is offer a lamp. It's self-illuminating, literally, but the process itself. Once when I was in Vrindavan, and they asked me, they means the powers that be, asked, could you give the first class on Kartik and talk about Kartik, what it is? And so I took a couple days to research, and also I read the Kartik Mahatmya. And I was charmed by the fact that the main thing is to offer a lamp. And I was talking to a godbrother of mine about it, and he said, yep, Krishna likes simple things, just with devotion. And I find that a month is a pretty long time to do something every day. And you may think, lamp, I could do that. But just try doing it every day with as busy as you are. And if you can plan around that, there's such a sweet mood in Kartik. And when you offer the lamp and sing the song, then it's naturally fulfilling and uplifting. And that's all you have to do. Keep it really simple. Hare Krishna. Brajaras Bhavana.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
I was thinking about how I would explain certain topics in Krishna consciousness, like very basic things, like that we're not the body, that we're the soul, or how karma works, or how God works, or like who God is, and so on. And I was just noticing how my understanding is very shallow, where I can explain things in a conversation, where I can build up to something. But if I were to speak on something, I feel like I really needed to dig down, get a really nice presentation. Otherwise, I don't really understand it. And so I was wondering how one develops that ability to articulate Krishna consciousness.
Practice. And it's in speaking and hearing and chanting. I've often said that when you walk away frustrated, you're in a good position. Oh, I should have said this. And oftentimes I'll think of it after I lie down and start to go to sleep. I should have said that. And also when you hear and chant and you come to a point, it's like, how do you figure that out? You're lucky to walk away with a question, because oftentimes in an assembly, somebody will ask, do you have any questions? And we're like, nope, no, I don't have anything. But if you're intensely hearing and chanting, there's a time when you're going to have a lot of questions and they'll add up. And then at the right times, you'll find the answer or somebody will answer it for you. And it keeps you in a ready position, always eager to hear the next thing. It was specifically about becoming more articulate, right? Yeah, and also writing helps. When you write, then you naturally become more articulate because you have to organize your thoughts. And you may notice writers, editors, they often speak in a well-ordered way. So that helps also. And practice, practice, practice. More reps. Yes, Melanie.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Recently I was meditating on the compassion of Krishna, that he takes the form of a super soul, enters into the sugar cube, makes it sweet. If I took birth as a cockroach, he was there. Whatever birth we have taken, even now he's here with me as a super soul. And I was also reading the broken names of His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj, where he says that our heart is very impure. Krishna wants to come, but Maharaj is very graphic in describing. He says that there is so much of stench that Krishna couldn't come closer. But the holy name, he becomes the janitor and he comes and helps us clean up the heart. I was just thinking that he's there because even to clean our heart, we can't do it ourselves. We need his help. So in spite of knowing all these things, yet we ignore him. So what should we do so that we keep this constantly in our mind and don't ignore Krishna, especially when we are chanting?
I've noticed that when I'm around devotees who are eager to hear and chant and serve, then it rubs off. It's natural. And therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srimad Bhagavatam describe how when we can get association with devotees, then we're very fortunate, because then we'll naturally advance by their association. And we could gravitate towards the kind of association will uplift us. That's the main occupation, is trying to put oneself in the midst of devotees in a mood of service who are very advanced. Association is everything, really. Karanam guna sangosya. Krishna says, whatever position you're in, you can understand the cause was association. And then he describes how association, how you can take advantage of association, tadvidi pranipatina pariprashnena sevaya. It's a way in which go humbly. It's the characteristic of the mind, the egoistic mind to think, oh, I know that. Others saying that, but I already read that. And I'll bet he doesn't know that. I probably read more books than he did. Something like that. And so pranipat, go without that ego, just be open and render some service and then ask questions. And so much transpires in that time when we have good association with devotees. It's practical and mystical at the same time. Sadhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You were talking about a book distribution in the lecture, and you were saying that, even if you're traveling, you could always take a book with you. And, when we're traveling and, maybe we have to carry a Srimad Bhagavatam set, sometimes we may be discouraged because it might be such a hassle. So how do we keep up the dedication and inspiration to go on books, Because every week we are, engaged in material. For example, I'm going to school every week, and I may not be able to get inspiration that I get in the temple. So how do I keep up the inspiration and dedication to, surge on, even though there may be like different struggles and hassles?
Well, I've found that if I put myself in a position where I can distribute books when I'm moving about, then opportunities come unsought. And we notice it when we're on yatra and everybody has been equipped with books and a book bag and language cards if we need them. So if you just get in the habit of bringing them with you, and even if you tell Krishna, I'm bringing these, but you're going to have to do all the work. I'm ready as your instrument, but I really don't want to initiate anything. It'll happen. You'll drive through the window where you pay for the ticket, and the guy goes, hey, what are those beads around your neck? and then he's like, oh yeah, I have a Easy Journey Out of the Planets in my bag, and you just pull it out. Go with what you can handle, but make it more exciting to take it with you. And when you do, it'll happen. It's also nice to take prasadam with you. I was on a tour with a group of BBT devotees, must have been 10 years ago. We went to Vietnam to get the Bhagavad Gita printed in Vietnamese, and we went to Korea, and we went to Japan, and several other places. It was a large group, too. I'd never traveled like that. I like to figure things out ahead of time. So we get to the airport, try to get a squeeze on, get the worst seats on the plane. Anyway, it was fun. But we got to Korea, and they said, there's nothing we can do for you. And everywhere we were going, we had lollipops, and we were passing them out to everybody. And so I took a lollipop out, and the woman was at the counter trying to find, she said, no. And I took a lollipop, and I put it down there, and she looks at it, and she looks up and goes, okay, we got one. And then one of the devotees who was with me, who was a real joker, he took another one, he put it there, and he goes, can we have an upgrade? One thing people don't expect is that you're going to just give them a lollipop or prasadam. And I find in Delhi airport, when we come out, I always take a bunch of books with me to Delhi airport. I feel sorry for the workers there. They can't sit down. It's part of the regulation there. They have to keep walking around. And when they see somebody that appreciates them, gives them a lollipop and a book, they're just so happy. And it creates a festival wherever you go. Like at the ticket counter, when everything's going down, you just hit everybody. Lollipop, lollipop, guy carrying the bags. Everyone's going, hey, I got a lollipop. And then the books come out and the conversations start and the person says, oh, my aunt is into this, and I've heard about it. It changes what's normally a boring experience or routine experience, going from point A to point B into something exciting. Vaisesika. Yeah, we remember how, Oh yeah, definitely.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, you were saying that Krishna is always there when he asked. Yesterday we were at Santa Cruz and we were out of all the three murtis, but still there was time to come back home. So we had one Bhagavatam and I and Achyut Balaram Prabhu were there, and we it was there up and we were like, okay, we can wait for 10 minutes. Krishna, if you want, we're just giving you opportunity. We have still 10 minutes, and right at 5:07, somebody came and it's like, what is that? Pointing to Srimad Bhagavatam, we showed her and she was very spiritual and she happily accepted. And it was just 5:10. I was watching the clock, 5:10. She took the whole box and she gave donation and went. And Prabhu, Achyut Balaram Prabhu was so shocked and he was like, yeah, Krishna is here. Krishna is here. It was so amazing. So I just wanted to share that when you said that. Thank you.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, when you were mentioning in the class that Bhagavad Gita travel package, and now also we are having that discussion, so little sharing on that. So there was a time I used to travel from West Coast to East Coast for work. So I used to grab around 10 Bhagavad Gita, soft Bhagavad Gitas in a bag, and one to the taxi driver, from home to the airport, then one in the airplane to the co-traveler, and then from the airport to the hotel, another taxi driver, and then to the hotel reception, and then, whoever in the hotel, right, they're coming to the laundry guy and all those things. And then when you return, same thing back, all, at least 7 to 10, was there. So when he was mentioning, right, I was like, yeah, we have to, yeah. So I was contemplating that the two things which you tell that the more you sow, more you sell.
Yeah.
And another is if you have it, you can give it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's the second one. Get books. Because we've taken it to even Ivy League schools and had double-blind studies done, and they found out that you can't distribute books you don't have. Thank you for recalling that. Yes. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I had a question on when we read Shastras, then how can we work to actively implement it in our day-to-day lives, or specifically on the Bhagavad Gita?
We were just reading the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. I find when I read chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, it's like rediscovering it. It's like reading it for the first time. And in that section of the 13th chapter, there's a verse that talks about how Krishna has his hands and legs everywhere. And Prabhupada explains in the purport that Krishna is in the spiritual world, but because he's an unlimited person, if you offer him something, he can reach down and take your offering with his own hand. And a practical application of that would be to offer something to Krishna. He says in the Gita, offer me something. And so you could take him up on it. And it's a very visceral, and it's also heartfelt. When you offer something to Krishna as a person with the context and knowledge that he says, I'll accept it, and then the idea that he's an unlimited person, he could reach his hand out. It's not amorphous, it's not just abstract, but it's actually personal. That would be a practical application. And so when you're fortified with that understanding and then you make an offering, it's very different from just, we used to say, you should make offerings with love and devotion, not with lust and commotion. And there's a way that if it's just ritualistic and you forget that Krishna is actually reaching and taking your offering, then you just might put it down, ring the bell, and not give it as much thought as when you read Shastra and read the Bhagavad Gita and you have this clear sense that Krishna's going to reach out and take it. There are a lot of other examples, but Shastra is amazingly relevant to our lives. And one realization I've had about reading Srimad Bhagavatam, especially at Kartik time when we're able to read long sections at a time and hear the whole canto in a month, is that it solves all problems which originate, all of them, in the mind. And that there are various psychological anomalies that arise in the minds of humans, especially in mine, and that by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, they become resolved. That's a practical application. And you don't have to do a lot except for be there and hear it. That's one of the principles that you were mentioning about Krishna comes and sweeps. It's the vidhunoti principle, that he's there actively cleaning the heart. If we're there actively listening with devotion. And that's very practical also, because people are always trying to position themselves in the world so that they don't suffer. It's the main thing everyone does, try to avoid suffering. But when you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, it's a natural way that your suffering diminishes because of the way it resolves the psychological anomalies, which are under three general categories: raga, bhaya, krodha. And then there's subsections of those ad infinitum. And the combinations and permutations of those are all dealt with in the Bhagavatam so expertly, like nobody else can do it like that. So that's very practical also. You'll notice that if you do Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, then you'll start to see your life as a real project rather than drudgery, that I have to go through these things. You feel that there is resolution to everything. And chanting is very practical also, which is recommended in the Shastra. Namachintamani. Did everyone get to meet Namachintamani, Dasi? If you haven't, please do. She's leaving in a few days. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for coming all the way over.
Thank you, Maharaj. I have a question. When we find good association and we want to take advantage of it, we want to do everything that's available in terms of association and service, there can be sometimes parts of our life that get deprioritized. And there's something I'm noticing in myself that I want to take advantage of good association. And there's people around me saying, don't forget about this or that, but you can't do everything. And you talked about balance. So how do we optimize our time in this human form of life and not miss out, but also live a healthy life? And
Yeah, it's part of being human. There's so many opportunities. It's hard to choose which ones. I like to give practical examples like financial affairs. You deal with the main things first. Like make a priority to make the best kinds of investments possible, and in our lives too. It's good to take time to prioritize what are the most important investments we can make. And there's a way in which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions 64 items of devotional service, and then he consolidates them into 5. And when we first started the ISV, I was thinking, how could we ever, in a household or community, and everyone's got to work so hard and is so busy, and then there's family and there's commuting, how could we be successful? And then when I thought of those 5 out of 64, I thought, well, Lord Chaitanya, actually, I'll take it a step further. He took it a step further. He said, there's 5 out of 64, and even if you don't have faith in them, he says, and even if you're only connected with them a little bit, you'll be successful. And so I thought, well, if that is what our community does, and we're connected to those 5 even a little bit, then we'll be successful. So if you figure out what the basics are in your life, and then you budget accordingly, and find some of the practices that you can't do without, and you find so fundamentally nourishing and important, that you put them on your list for definitely do without question every day. And then whatever's left over, you can take advantage of it. Regarding association, Srila Prabhupada, before he was initiated, was pursuing getting initiated from his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he was very busy. And when his Guru Maharaj had a yatra for 10 days, he only got to go for 1 day. And he went there and he took such advantage of the opportunity that he had in that 1 day that his Guru remembered him. When he went to Allahabad, he said, oh, I know him. He's the one who sits up front and listens, and he won't go away, as he took such advantage of it. So I recommend taking time with a legal pad and a pentel, and just take time for yourself to prioritize your life. Write down all the things that are important to you. For a while, think about it, and then consider it over some time and reorganize the list. And when you put that together for your spiritual practices and everything you have to do, then you'll have a clearer idea that when the opportunities come, these are what's most important to me. But we'll always have more opportunities than we'll have time for anyway, and that's not bad. So, okay, coming near the end, because I was told to come home early. Ish.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Great to have you. I mean, the violin that you're playing right now, no, I'm not saying that violin, although that's a nice violin. The way you're playing the violin has added an aesthetic that is just absolutely enticing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So I'm going to ask my question first, and then in 1 or 2 sentences, I'll briefly explain. My question is, I think this is a very sort of close, not close circle, a circle where I'm very happy to open my heart. So I'm going to be honest. The question is, when you go out to teach people about Krishna consciousness, how do you make sure that it's genuinely personal and it's not like some sort of, I just want to give you a book and I want to take some money from you? So that is the question. Just 1 or 2 sentences. I'm someone who, at this point in my life, I just don't have a lot of mental space for anyone. And for me personally, especially in the last 5-6 years, it has been very difficult to really, when someone explains their life and the things in their life, I don't have so much of patience to like really patiently listen to them and understand and empathize. I can empathize, but I don't have so much of time to sort of like, spend a lot of time with someone. So adding on to that, when you go out to teach people about Krishna consciousness, how do you make sure that, okay, just tell whatever you want to tell, okay, fine, all right, okay, it's good that you're going through that, it's fine. And after that, okay, this is something that's going to teach you about Krishna consciousness. And, this costs like $5 or something like that. So how do you make sure that when I go out to teach Krishna consciousness to people, they shouldn't feel that the only thing I care about is collecting that $5 of donation and giving you a Bhagavad Gita. I feel that I have to be genuinely caring for that person. And so how do you make it more personal and then just like not, the number of books you've distributed?
Well, go out not to distribute books. Go out to make friends and connect with people and be interested in them. And let the books go out, if they do, in it as a natural course of your interaction with them. They'll probably notice you're carrying them with you when you make friends with them. And it's also helpful to go out for your own purification. If you think I'm going to change people, or I'll go out to tell them the way it is, they'll often sense that. They're already sensing it, because if you have a book in your hand, what you're the message is, you're messed up, I'm going to fix you. Otherwise, why are you out there with a book? But what I've found is, if you go out because it's sadhana, that's why I always talk about book distribution as a high sadhana. It's a high sadhana because Krishna likes it the best when you go out and teach Bhagavad Gita to people. And if you go out to see what it feels like to offer it to people and interact with them and go to the trouble of doing it and feel what it's like to get purified, then you have a completely different experience. It has to do with how you frame what you're doing and what the goal of it is. If it's, I have to sell a lot of books, then you might feel a bit of anxiety if somebody doesn't take a book. But if that's not your goal, if somebody doesn't take a book, it's the same as somebody did, because you're just there for the experience. So I always, when I'm presenting the process of book distribution, especially in new communities, tell the devotees that we're not going out to sell books. And sometimes they do a double take and they smile like, you're just kidding, right? And I say, no, I'm serious. We're not going out to sell books. Books sell themselves. And if you instead go out, just see what it feels like to go out and do it. Oftentimes people have a mental image what it means to go out on book distribution. And the mental image is completely different from the experience itself. The mental image a lot of people have is that it's going to be hard, I'll be rejected, people hate me. And then you go out and there's a world out there where everyone's bored. They're wishing that there was something interesting that would come along, and they're so happy to see you. And it's important. That's a kind of purification also, to remember what we have is the most valuable thing. You can forget it if you're sequestered and you're only in your own echo chamber. You could start taking it for granted, all the processes. But when you take them out into public and you show them to other people and you see through their eyes, oh, this is valuable. Have you ever had at your house, you invite somebody over, a guest comes over and say, this is a beautiful painting. And you go, oh, that thing? I've had that for 20 years. I haven't seen it for for 19 of those years. And it's a similar way that when we take out and we showcase ourselves. We're in association of devotees. We're taking that out. That's what they buy. It's not the book they're buying. They're buying, oh, wow, this person feels different to me. They actually care about me and so forth. So that's an exciting prospect. And that's an evolution. And when we can have that experience regularly, then we'll find that it sustains our practice as well. Yeah, thank you for such a nice question. We'll be leaving tomorrow morning for our flight, bound for Vrindavan. We're not going to fly into Vrindavan. We'll stop in Singapore, and then we'll be there just for the layover, which actually is pretty long. It's 7 hours, but we get in at night. And then we fly to Delhi, and we'll be staying with our dear friends, Radhesham Prabhu and his wife, who always take care of us. They live in Gurugram. And we'll have a program there the night of the day we arrive. And then the next day we'll drive to Vrindavan, Krishna willing, and just get not too much settled in, because we're leaving the next day for Govardhan. And there's a retreat center there that Borijan Prabhu and Sachinandan Swami started. It's called the Govardhan Retreat Center. We'll be there for 5 days because Divyanam Prabhu has a yatra coming from London. And we'll go to every day a new place in Vrindavan and have time there to hear and chant together. We'll have a morning program together. And then after the 5 days, we'll come back to the Bhaktivedanta ashram at Govardhan Hill, and you're all invited. And at that Govardhan Hill, then we start our schedule. And the schedule is that we we have 2.5 hours of reading of Bhagavatam in the morning, and then 2.5 hours in the afternoon. And it's become a real event. It started, actually I just used to go by myself, and I go there to take a retreat and read. And I used to sit outside there's a area on the ashram where you can look out at Govardhan Hill, and I sit there until the mosquitoes drove me crazy. But gradually it grew over the last, this is our 23rd year, and more devotees came, and then they gave me a room downstairs, the big room, and then devotees started coming every year. And now the whole courtyard outside of the room is set up with chairs and the speaker system, a la Ramananda Saka. He's known all over the world for his engineering. And then last year, Chakadola put up a television, so everyone on the outside can watch the reading on the inside and sit there, and it's very pleasant. Everyone just stays and hears the Bhagavatam. We stop at intervals and have little discussion, but we try to stay on track because we like to have a goal to finish a particular section, and then sometimes when it's crunch time, we'll even include the Bhagavatam class time for the reading, just so we can catch up and make sure we make it to the end. And then we'll come back to Krishna willing and all of you willing, back to ISV, where everyone says I left my heart in Vrindavan, but I left mine here. I'm just going there because I need to. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for taking care of yourselves and taking care of everybody else. It's a rare opportunity that we have. And, we're a little one-horse town here in the middle of Silicon Valley. But we'd really like to shock the world. So please work diligently on yourself so that you can do good for others. And also, let's sneak up on Mayapur and really just blow past them. Put it up on the wall. Before I get back, I want to see a chart and see what we have to do. Whatever we have to do, we'll do, right? Yes. And for this marathon, Live to Give, just innovate. It's not one thing. It's just from enthusiasm. Just think. Everybody should get lots of Bhagavad Gitas. Everybody do it. Don't wait for something to be organized. Figure it out and just really be enthusiastic for Bhagavad Gita. And it's the best thing for the planet right now that people are very confused and they feel very conflicted. And they're under stress now. There's this election coming up and nobody knows what's going to happen and everyone's thinking the worst. And so the only solution is Bhagavad Gita. It really is. So be kind to our fellow inhabitants of Silicon Valley and Tri-Valley and any of the valleys anywhere. And just get a lot of Bhagavad Gitas. Get a lot. They're not expensive, especially after Bhagavatam. Stock up. Put them in front of the refrigerator. And kids, you can have a little something after these are gone. And we can open the... Whatever you can innovate and do, each household should be... this is guerrilla warfare. This is how we're successful here. We go by grit here at ISV, don't we? Yes. And take it back to your universities. If you're going to universities, be a little bold. This is the time to go for it. It's a Live to Give campaign. But we want to have a big showing here, and we're warming up because we're going to blow past Mayapur. I guarantee you. Just put it on the wall. It's like on the parikram. You pick sadhu going a million miles an hour ahead of you, and then you just lean in and eventually you catch up and pass. So we're going to do that. Does that sound okay? Yes. Yeah. You're all overachievers, You're in the beyond the 99th, 100th percentile. So use this for Bhagavad Gita and use it for the Sankirtan movement. Okay? Yes. Thank you. I'm deeply grateful. I don't know how I got so lucky to be here with you. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Panchatattva, Shri Radhamani Mohan, Shri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev, if you so desire, please protect everybody, protect our hearts, and please let us work together in Krishna consciousness so that we can achieve the goal of life and help as many people as possible. And please let us adjust our service so it's a pleasing offering to your lotus feet. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Thank you, everyone, and everyone who agrees with this prayer in whole or in part, please unmute and say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I think I'll take this too.